Good morning, my friends. It's almost exactly 11:30 on a Thursday. I had to think what day it was because I work a lot of different days and never know what day is. So, a lot of things have been going on. Now, I've done many videos that I haven't posted. I've thought about them later and didn't put them up for whatever reason. Today is a really funky day. It rained yesterday, and it's kind of raining today, but not really physically raining now. It's snowing in Reno, Nevada. Not deep, but it's snowing in May. And all that other good stuff. Now, a bank, I don't know where it is. I'll have to research it and see. It was called like Pacific Bank of the West or something. And I don't know whether that's like here or where it is. But here's another thing, and I'm going to give you this. This is what Gil Broussard told a lot of people to do, and I would believe this. I have a $20 charge on one of my credit cards because I don't use credit cards really. I just wanted to see if it was activated. So I have to pay it. Well, unfortunately, when you go onto its website, it keeps telling me I can't even join it. So I'm going to have to go on the phone and pay it because I don't want it to get to where it's double. I just want to pay it off. So Gil Broussard basically said that to pay off all your credit cards if you can. If you don't have like a couple $100 or $1,000, something like lower, and you can, then to pay off your credit card debt and don't really use them because the bank, and they already said it, the Fed is already upping its rate. Stock market went down 500 points the other day, and then the next thing you knew, it bounced back up a little bit, but then today it was down 285 the last time I looked. So, stock market crash, probably coming. A couple of economists have talked about it. Basically said it would probably be worse than 1929. Somebody joked with me, are people going to jump out buildings? Well, who knows, but that's what they're saying, worse than 1929, so all that's coming. All these, now, of course, this is the thing I find very funny because I'm going to bring this little story up, and I'm going to say it's a conspiracy theory because it is, but there's a few conspiracy theories that I kind of believe. Now, one of the ones I watched yesterday about the guy from World War II, do I think he escaped to Argentina and lived till he died? I think he did. I think both of them did. And there's a big thing about it, and they found all these artifacts that are there in this little area of Argentina, and why would they be there if these guys didn't bring them with them? And that the stupid thing was doing that because they could have just not brought anything with no trace and no one would have known. In this little area of there are a group of people that are Germanic. They speak German even though they speak Spanish. The kids are brought up more European than they are where they're at. That's the one conspiracy theory. The other one is that a famous musician's father, the part of the story is true, that his father was on the ship, that part is true, that kind of started the war in Vietnam. But there's more to the story, and that's why this supposed guy wanted out of his contract, was because he knew it, and he was going to spill it, and so they said okay, and he never died and lived on. That one seems very plausible too. Well, anyway, because a lot of countries try to poo-poo what they call a false flag, but it's kind of funny how when this other country has something happen to it, I'm not naming them, oh no, they did it to themselves, to this and this and this. Because it's always the way it is. It's always that country and a certain person every single day over and over and over. Blame them, blame them, blame them. My From Around the World says that Russia just isn't using any good stuff yet. They're going to, and they already are, because they're in the Atlantic Ocean, probably with submarines and everything else, getting ready to do something. So, but they're using their old crap like tanks and things like that because they don't need them. And it's kind of a way to fake out the other country that they're weak. And then eventually they'll use the good shit and whatever happens, happens. So they're trying to say that, oh yeah, that's not even true. They bombed themselves and blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe. I'm not saying they didn't, but that's one of the little side stories, right? So with that, everything nowadays is a conspiracy theory. If they, well, it's the truth if they want it to be, but a conspiracy theory if you think it is. Okay? That's just how that goes. So there's those two things. The weather's odd. I'm not saying it's never snowed over here at this time of year, because way back in 1976 when I was in high school, it did snow. And it wasn't deep, but it was enough. Everybody wanted to go home, and so we all feigned sick, faked it, to go home and play in it. And everybody knew, because, we don't get it. It's up here on the coast, but it did. It snowed that day. So we're not going to say it's irregular, but it's a lot of improbable. Also coughing a little bit, but not as bad as usual. Anyway, so got a bank failed, another one. We got, and a lot of banks are failing. So we have another bank failing. One has failed. I think it's called Pacific West. I don't know exactly what. Don't even know where it is because they posted it but didn't really read it. But it did. And so you have banks failing. Like Gil said, if you have a credit card, we're just a little bit on it, pay that sucker off, because interest rates are going to go up, and then you won't, and you'll be owing the government all kinds of money. So rather than owe a lot of money, you should make sure to have your credit cards paid off and stay stocked up on everything you need. Like I always tell you, it's those same things: food, water, supplies, enough to get you by. I did see a thing on here yesterday. There's a place, I think it's North Dakota, it could be South Dakota. And it's kind of funny because they have a big old area, and for if you have the money, like $35,000, you can reserve yourself a place in one of those bunkers that they have. Now that's all cool and good. But it's kind of funny because they always talk about the capital changing and being somewhere like there and all that. But if you had you probably can't do it now, but if you had $35,000, these are not underground bunkers. These are above ground military bunkers that are bunkers, though, that'll probably survive a blast. And you can put food in them and everything else. And so, it's not like, the ones that are way deep, like the other ones, like Mount Weather and like that. These are above ground. Like when I was in the military, they had those there too. Above ground steel door bunkers. There's one in Burns, Oregon, even. That one's like $100,000 because they're still probably building it. They're probably done almost, but there's one there. Horrible place to live, but a great place to survive something. So a lot of things are beginning to happen and ramp up. You also got to worry about, now here's something else that I'm going to bring this up, but once again, I'm not going to name any names. There are a lot of guys out there that are trying to throw this AC thing out there and say it's a certain British person. They keep saying that he's of this faith. I went and looked it up. No, he isn't. He thinks it's the kind of a fun thing to look at and whatever, but he isn't a follower, nor does he practice it. So whoever says that's true, that's not true. My mind is on somebody else. So with all that happening and being said and all that good stuff, and you might see my expression change as I pull into work, because I'm more than likely, our main guy is probably going to be here today, just because we're short-handed, and there were things about that shouldn't have happened, but they did. And so it just depends on how I am. So this is May, right? June, July. So 4 months, 3 to 4 more months. And supposedly, this is what I'm going with, because you see, and then to all the people that put little laughing emojis and ha ha ha, I think the world's going to last forever. Well, it may, but the people on it may not. So, that's about the time. Now, there's an eclipse today, but I think it's only going to be seen on the eastern part of America. We're not going to see it. About 11:30 a.m. tomorrow. Wait a minute. Or p.m. Sorry. So, that's going to happen. But the comet itself is supposed to be seen somewhere around August, September, somewhere there. If I was going to go with my mind and what I've always thought about forever, I would think it would be closer to October, because I'm going to give you this little stupid thing that I came up with. I was a kid when I thought about this, but I already knew about masonry and all these different little clubs and all that and everything else. And so we found out that the guy who drew that cartoon, The Great Pumpkin, was a Mason. Okay? Kind of like the guy in The Simpsons. So as I got a little older and got more involved in, the whole thing, I kept thinking that they were depicting the Great Pumpkin, like I'm Linus and my girlfriend is Sally, and she doesn't really believe what I'm telling her, but she'll still come out there with me and look. And then it doesn't come, and I'm a blockhead, and I don't know, and all this. Well, anyway, that's why my little picture above my thing is of Linus and the Great Pumpkin, because I always correlated the Great Pumpkin with the red dragon comet, planet, dwarf star, whatever you want to call it. And so that's why I leaned on October. I felt that, the guy who drew the cartoon was putting that pumpkin, orange ball in the sky, kind of like the orange ball in the sky. And kept talking about it, and it never came, and pretty soon he was a blockhead, and no, you did all this, and you drug me out to the field to stand in the cold, but nothing happened, see? And that's how I kind of feel. So, anyway, somewhere in that 3-month period, but they're saying if they don't see it this time, and by April, because they already can see it, they can see it in a telescope, like, a big observatory telescope, they can see it. But they mean you walk out there, maybe catch it on the horizon for a little bit, that's then, okay? Then they're going to have to say whatever it is, announce it away or whatever, you know what I mean? So they really can't just come out and say, oh yeah, it's this. They're going to have to say it's something else, because if they don't, something's going to happen. I mean, the world will flip, so they can't have that happening. So what they're going to have to do is wait till they can maybe say something. But they won't be able to admit that right yet. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's today's video. I'm almost at work. I kind of assume that it's going to be the way it is, because it's probably going to be the way it is. And actually, it isn't. So now I don't know if he's going to be coming back or whatever it is. But as of now, maybe it's not going to be that. That might just be a little bit easier day. Maybe. We'll see. But anyway, because it's hard to tell for me if the main man will be here, because he usually takes his lunch right before I get here. So I don't know. He might come back, but he might not come back. Anyway, a lot of jobs are going. The guy the actual guy that was not Bill Gates, but the other IBM guy, he actually quit. And basically, he was saying that, okay, they've laid off 800 people. They're going to fulfill those jobs with AI. Isn't that interesting? That's freaking crazy. So they're all going like that. And this is not me on a big rampage, criticizing anybody for how much their family size is. But in today's world, really, 1, 2 kids, that's it. 15 kids, 20 kids, like some of these people have, with all these no jobs. And the other thing that's going to happen is the Social Security, by the time these younger people that are 30 become my age, they may not even see it. So anyway, that's today's video. Pretty much going to have my little bitty breakfast before I go in and then get ready to go. And if luck has it, the main the main guy isn't coming back. And that's kind of good. That'll work good for me because I'm really not into this whole thing. You know what I mean? So, you guys have a really good day. Peace. I'll be seeing you. And as I say, we're the watchmen if you can. So have a great day and hang in there.